when you have late swap and you have to late swap, careful with the ones on the bottom because they will appear again. What's up, everyone? Sup, party animals? I was here cleaning my keyboard right before this. I dropped acai on my keyboard. I have a brand new keyboard, man, and I had like acai in between the keys with like some granola and honey. I was gonna eat like keyboard for breakfast. Anyway, today we got a good one. More NBA talk. But before we get there, you guys comment, you guys liked, you guys subscribed. And, of course, I'm giving away a millionaire ticket. That one went to Michael Rico, who said, my optimal settings differ per slate. Remember, that's what we talked about last video. On short slates, i.e. 4 games or less, he uses 2 uniques. On big slates, I crunch with 1 unique. I will say that my most profitable days last season were on 2 unique player builds. Interesting. With randomness, I spent all of last year not using it and did well. But this year, I've been toying with it on chalkier slates to try and differentiate myself. I've been using 10 to 20% depending on how many free squares there are that night. Interesting that the less amount of games, the more uniques you use. And interesting that this year, to get a little bit more different, he's incorporated randomness, still has done well. So Michael Rico, tweet me at MLaura. I'll give you your millionaire ticket. Hey, remember, if you win, baby, 10%, my friends. I always joke around with that. Good luck. So tweet me if you want to win a millionaire ticket. All you got to do is thumbs up, like, subscribe, and comment below. The question of the day today is, how many players do you like using on an NBA slate? Overall, number of players. If you want to comment on how many games or how big the slate is, fine. But give me how many players you like using on an NBA slate. That's what we're going to talk about today. It is. And I'm going to show you a couple different professional players and what they do with their player pool, specifically at the bottom. Shout out to all my Apple bottoms. Where you at, baby? Yeah, I'm going to show you kind of what the Apple bottom on the bottom looks like. Not taking so many, guesses towards the bottom, I think will help you in the long term. So we'll get right into it. I'm going to go straight to Chipotle Addict, one of your guys' favorites. You know him. He's very good at fantasy. This is a random slate, the 11-11 slate. This was the $8 where he did run 150. He runs 150 in absolutely everything, right? So if you scroll down, first of all, here you have the player pool. For the sake of this, I'm going to take off my cam just a second so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about, right? If you scroll all the way down, and this is what I'm going to talk about specifically for this one, right? Look towards the bottom where you see he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys used just one time. That one next to them means how many lineups they appeared in. He only has 5 of these guys. If you guys pay attention to how your lineups come out every time you crunch or make, I don't know, say 50, 100, just try it out. Brief exercise. Make 50 lineups, 60 lineups, and check the bottom end of your pool and how many one lineup guys you have. You'll see that you have 10, 11, 12, and the bigger the slate is, the more of those guys you have. The reality with those one lineup guys is you have one shot to put the nuts around them, right? You have one shot to have the very best players surrounding those guys, and that's kind of where everything is just lost. Because let's say one of these one lineup guys was Joe Ingles. Let's say Joe Ingles has a phenomenal game, but you paired him with, I don't know, Brad Wanamaker. And all of a sudden, that Joe Ingles lineups or that Joe Ingles 50-point performance goes to waste. That's it. You have nothing else. Why are you playing Joe Ingles one time? You know what I mean? Like, if you have 10 or 11 of these guys, then that's a lot of wasted lineups or a lot of wasted exposure, I think, right? Yeah, can you have some? Sure. But should you have many of these guys? I don't think so. I mean, it's kind of a waste. Here, let's go to McLovin, another really, really good player. This guy has been, they've both been playing for a long time, both top 10 players, top 5 probably. And if we were to scroll down to his as well, again, I'll take out my cam for this, you'll see that he also has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players near the bottom, right? And it doesn't have to be, fading Lou Williams or just whatever it is down here, but don't really waste on one lineup guys, right? And of course, the more you play, the more games there are, the more you'll have down here. Also remember, if you're late swapping, you will also have one lineup guys appear all of a sudden. So this is another tip I'll recommend when and this season we've had to use it quite a bit already, is when you have late swap and you have to late swap, careful with the ones on the bottom because they will appear again. And I know in your initial build you didn't have any ones, or you left like 4 or 5, just like how these guys have it, and you feel great about what you have. Then, I don't know, Rodney Hood gets scratched, and you have Hazonia and Bazemore and Scalabissier that all of a sudden are plays, and you have to late swap everything, and all of a sudden now you have 8, 9, 10 guys that are one lineup at the bottom, and that just increased. I'd also say try to remove those guys at the bottom, right? Even when late swapping. So here's my tip. If you want to avoid this, and you don't want this to happen, and you want to play like Chipotle, you want to play like McLovin, tip is, and there's a few ways to do this, right? So if you were to go to FC and create a bunch of lineups, right? And so here, let's see if I can do this. And you were to create a bunch of lineups, and you were to go down here, and you have, like, look, perfect example. You were to have Danny Green, Mike Conley, Levine, Harris, Kaminsky, all these guys at 1. And for the sake of this, don't hindsight anything. You can quickly just come to how many percent used in all these lineups you have. You can scroll down and just eliminate from here downwards. Click hold, and I'll just re-crunch all over again. So for the sake of this, I'm going to make, I don't know, 50 lineups. I'll make 100 for the sake of this, right? And like that, you should eliminate the guys that are fringe, because all this is doing is there's some guys that are right on the cusp, depending how many lineups you make, that are right on the cusp of making it and not making it. And a couple things can happen. Your next crunch will be much better in terms of having ones on the bottom, or you'll continue to have more fringe guys. This happens on larger slates. So I eliminated the bottom 10 that were down there with one lineup. But because there's so many games and so many players, and of course, if you incorporate randomness, there's going to be still way more down there. You're going to still have a large number of ones down there, right? So you want to do this till you stop getting a good amount of ones, and there you go. For the sake of this one, it's never going to reach. It's probably going to reach 1 more, 2 more, and I'll have like 3 or 4 maybe ones at the bottom, which for me is fantastic. I absolutely love getting something like this, because if I do have the Jokic the Jokic lineups that I do like, I have 3 chances at getting it perfect, right? I have, 3 chances at Duncan Robinson or whoever down here that can be the outlier, because these are still fringe plays. You're just not overextending and overexposing yourself to these guys, right? Julius Randle, I have 5 chances at getting Julius Randle correct. And as you continue making lineups, it'll play more of the guys that are really worth playing, and it'll play less of the guys that are not worth playing. And it doesn't mean they're not worth playing. You still should play them. You should play them way less. And doesn't mean you should play them 1 time either. So I love how this comes out on the bottom. It's a great way to have a more efficient 150, right? It's a more efficient way of having your 100, even 20 lineups. This happens with 20 lineups. Like, you have 20 lineups and you think you should have a bunch of guys just 1 time. It doesn't have to be. You could have 3 guys 1 time, but the rest of them use them to where if they do something, they're really making an impact on your lineup. So many times, so many lineup review streams where I go over your lineups and check the bottom. At least last year, man, it was a complete disaster down there. People would have 20 guys that they used 1 time. They'd have a player pool of like 90. It's like, I don't even know 90 people were in the damn league. I didn't even know there were 90 viable options on a 7-game slate. Like, insane, just strategies that wouldn't really make sense. And if people were to just take time and analyze what they're doing, they'd make much better lineups. So hopefully this one helps you. It's something I've been using for a long time. I know a lot of the top pros do it. They have very concise pools, but very efficient pools, which is what you get by having an apple bottom. Make sure to give this a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. Remember, comment below if you want a Millie ticket. Michael Rico hit me up on Twitter. I'll gladly do that. If you want to watch my live streams and learn a little bit more, get a little personal with me, interact a little bit more, that'll be twitch.tv/mlora. If you want to check out the podcast, it is the Study Minute, which is this channel, on all major platforms. And if not, you don't want to do any of those, sucks to be you, number one. But check out another video tomorrow, man. Take care, guys.